Let me first thank you for the kind invitation. I would like to show you my results also for your country, which are quite new. And I'm looking forward for a lively discussion, because we all have to learn about a topic we do not, or we know something, but a lot we do not know. That's also the reason why I have given the lecture this title. What would I like to do after a short introduction? I would like to give you some theoretical considerations about the shadow economy, then some results about the shadow economy, econometric estimates and results also for your country. I'm showing the effect a shadow economy has on the official one, because this topic is also in your country in the discussion totally neglected. That is why I also in front of the TV I made this provocative statement: the shadow economy is welfare enhancing. People are better off with a shadow economy than without one. So, and one can have here a lively discussion. But this is part 4, and I will give some summary and conclusions. If necessary, and if you are interested, we can then later on, and this is here in the appendix, discuss a bit the quite tricky way how to estimate a thing which you can't directly observe. As I said, the whole thing is a difficult topic because you don't have figures on it. Obviously, if you would have figures, things would be different. So this is also one thing that not very many people are doing research in this area. I regret this, because research lives from criticism, research lives from objections, and then you can improve it. But let's start with the shadow economy. What is written here can't be more true for your country. It is a hot topic. It is widely discussed. The Greek shadow economy is discussed all over Europe. Every politician, every newspaper in Europe says it's big. So there is the first and nice inconsistency. If it is big, whatever big means, then your official figures are too low, by definition. So that's quite simple. Amazingly, even not your government is correcting the figures. So you still get published, you have 13.6% of your current debt in percent of official GDP. It's the wrong figure. I don't understand this. Honestly, I don't understand why you still publish this. If you would correct it, it would be below 10%. That's something different also for policy objectives. If you have to reduce a budget deficit from 13, or if you have to reduce it from 9%. I'm not saying you don't have to reduce it, and it's the same task for the government, but the whole procedure and the whole big fuss about the bad Greek situation would be a different discussion if one would do this. And this would mean you have to do some research on the shadow economy, you have a sound micro basis, and you could do it. So really funny that even your government believes our current budget deficit is 13% of official GDP. So it's really, so that you see, so here it has this figure has a tremendous relevance in your country in the current debate. Of course, there are all these statements about what the shadow economy causes severe damages. The most and largest damage certainly is that you have a loss of tax revenues and social security contributions. How big the tax revenues loss is a very open question, because most income earned in the shadow economy is immediately spent in the official economy. So with increased VAT rates, now you have the bizarre effect that the shadow economy increases tax revenues. I did this calculation for Germany when they increased their VAT tax from 16 to 19%. So a 3% jump is something, so you feel it. And you had similar increases in your country. So that is one thing, whether this is so, and if Now it depends, and also you have to do this, can only solve this question with research, whether shadow economy is complementary or substitutive. Yeah? For most countries, 2/3 are complementary and not substitutive. Yeah? That also means that's a simple political statement that if we would have no shadow economy, we would have full employment. It was often made in Germany. Yeah? Is not true at all. Because in the official economy, most of these activities are much too expensive. People either would do it yourself or would not demand it. Yeah? So in Germany, I did this investigation. We have certain areas completely in the shadow economy, like household cleaning, officially done with all social security and tax payments. In Germany, almost no one would demand it. Yeah? So again here, that is a thing. Third point, unfair competition is a real point. Yeah? Those who offers work in the shadow economy can offer it cheaper, and this is unfair. Yeah? What you have here. And what is also interesting, and it is also the Greek policy, mostly one common policy measure, increase in effective punishment. Now one thinks with newspaper advertisement, look, this bad man didn't pay taxes for 5 years, yeah? And this official bashing of some Greek people. I'm not in favor of such things. I think this is very dangerous. Hopefully all did evade taxes. Yeah? Hopefully it's not that someone gets in the newspapers and other things. So I think this public denunciation is not a good thing in a democracy. I don't think this is also a wise strategy, yeah, to do. So give people incentives, and I will come to those at the end, what one could do. Now, as I said, this is my aim. I can be brief here about, I would like to give you some ideas about this quite difficult topic, show you some results, see interaction, and conclude. Now, what the problem in this research area starts, what is a shadow economy? Yeah? A lot of people think this is crime, this is organized crime, this is all which is not legal. Yeah? Here I make with purpose a definition to avoid this. Of course, we have overlapping areas. I will come to this. Yeah? But in principle, a shadow economy activities is the legal production of goods and services which you also observe in the official economy. If I repair a car in the shadow economy, it's exactly the same thing if you do it in a garage with the official bill. If the clutch is broken and you have to replace it, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah? One in the shadow and one officially, but the same thing, and the car later on has a value added because it functions again. Also, with both activities exactly the same. So the difference here is, and it's written here, to avoid payment of income, value added or other taxes, to avoid payment of social security contributions, and to avoid certain minimum legal standards, minimum wages, safety regulations, etc. And of course you don't have to deal with administrative procedures. This definition now is more and more common, has been taken over also by Eurostat. So this is a great mass of shadow economy activities. Yeah? And this is not burglary, bank robbery, drug dealing, or other things. Yeah? So this is a clear-cut definition here. We have here underground classical crime activities, which are all illegal actions that fit the characteristic of classical crime activities like burglary, robbery, drug dealing. Of course, I'm not so naive. We have overlapping areas. Yeah? Take the example prostitution. Prostitution is quite often done with illegal women coming from neighbor states from you. And so here we have a link of organized crime. Yeah? But the percentage of such activities in this normal, quote, shadow economy activities is for most OECD countries, also for you, not more than 15%. So 85% are these legal goods and services like repairing a car, building a house, doing a service in a tourism hotel, etc., etc. Yeah, so one should be very clear about this. And we have the informal household economy, yeah, which doesn't count, and it only counts if you pay someone, and mostly you do it in the shadow economy. Yeah. So what the difficulty is, and I think this picture is quite representative, that of course you have overlapping areas. Yeah, you have the criminal underground economy, the yellow or dark yellow. You have the green one, informal household economy. You have the shadow economy, and you have the legal economy. This is also one difficulty, that you have these overlapping areas, so that one is also, and then it depends also on which method you use for estimation, how large your overlapping area is. Also, one could frame it in a different way here by monetary, non-monetary transactions. Most transactions in the shadow economy are done monetary. Barter is very, I would say, time intensive and not very efficient. If I'm a plumber and can do plumbering in your house, but I need a babysitter, then I have to make a comparison of what is my hour of plumber working concerned to a babysitter. Maybe it's twice as much working or not. So when payment is here much more efficient, and then it deals with tax evasion, which can be, of course, observed in non-monetary transactions too. Next thing is to measure it, yeah, and we have here three methods, as you see: direct procedures, indirect procedure, and statistical models. Yeah, direct procedures have the big advantage: you get a lot of information. You get a lot of information: where people work, what they earn in the shadow economy, how much, what is their motivation, etc., etc. And nowadays also, and also in your country, people answer this question. Yeah, I don't say you anything about it. Yeah, at least in the last big questionnaire, which was done for your country by the European Union, it was not very well done, as the rejection rate was really pretty low. Of course, you can use indirect procedures, that you use a macroeconomic indicator, like that most transactions are paid in cash, so you can estimate a currency demand function, keeping constant all conventional factors and then adding shadow economy factors, and with such a procedure you get a macro figure. Or, and which I will show you in a second, you can use a latent estimation approach, that is a mimic a procedure, so where you model the shadow economy as an unobservable latent variable. Yeah? In social sciences, we have a lot of latent variables. You have no direct measure for health. If you tell your friend, I'm healthy, you say, I'm feeling well, I do sports, I have no overweight, etc., etc. So you're not saying, I'm healthy 5.4. Yeah? Nobody would understand you, what you mean. Yeah? So you have to describe it. Yeah? It's a similar thing. Yeah? So, and here, what I'm now doing and showing you, I have a link between this unobserved variable in a structure and in a measure model. And what I'm doing here is, this first is that the shadow economy is influenced by causal structural factors, like you see it here: share of direct taxation, indirect taxation, social security burden, burden of state regulation, quality of state institutions, tax morale, unemployment, GDP per capita, just to list the most important one. Yeah? And they are reflected in certain indicators, which is the second part down here: employment quota, change of local currency, and average working time. Yeah?